So we are going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Queer Dating 101. Going to go over a couple house rules. If you've been to a her event before, this will sound super familiar. So we highly encourage you to turn your videos on during this session. And it's really a great way to meet people and chat and connect because this is a dating series. So there's probably lots of cool people to meet here. And maybe you'll meet someone to date or a wing woman. And it has happened where we have love, and Melody can mention that, talk about that later. So yeah, this is an interactive event. If you want to send your questions to Chris at her, go ahead. Just in full disclosure, we probably won't get to any questions because we have so much content today. It's really, really exciting. But send them and we'll take a look at them. We'll probably answer a lot of them in other sessions, and I can build it into the future as well. So a reminder that her is a positive and supportive community. So we're very inclusive and we really want to support each other. If you're not here for that, we kindly ask you to leave, and you've been warned. So if any chat that's not inclusive, that's not related to the topic at hand, we will remove you. So you have been warned. We are recording this event, but only the speakers will be on the recording. So please turn your videos on. It's a great way to subtly check other people out. And hopefully there will be a bunch of interaction as well. So let's get started. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nicole. I'm super excited to be here. I have been working with her for the past few years, starting with a lesbian lube wrestling event in San Francisco in 2018, which is probably still my greatest life achievement to this day. I also write and edit her newsletter. So definitely sign up for that if you haven't already. You can find that link in our link tree on IG, and we'll have all these links for later as well. In my dayish job, I'm an executive life and sometimes dating coach. So super stoked to talk about these topics. And I'm a writer, so I'm trying to get my memoir published. It's called The No Plan Plan, and you will hear a lot of the adventures that happened during the last 5 years in this series as well. So I like to think of it as if Eat, Pray, Love, and Wild were written by a queer Asian millennial. So that's what my tag. I've been traveling mostly for the last 5 years and swiping everywhere around the world. So that's why I'm super stoked to be doing this series with you. So today is the first session of the 4-part series. And last fall, I created the series from my own frustrations with queer dating, especially during COVID. And I wanted to kind of distill all those learnings and share that with you folks and learn from you as well. So full disclosure, disclaimer, I'm no expert. Like, I'm definitely in the trenches with all of you. And I've only recently come out later in life in the last 5 years. But what I lack in experience, I make up for with tons of curiosity. I'm really nerdy. I like to research things. I studied psychology in college and want to share all of that with you folks. And I will literally try anything twice. So a lot of the learnings come from 2019. I was going to say last year, but last year was 2020. In this phase I call teenage boy predator beast mode. So super excited to be hosting this series. This time we did this in September. It was incredibly popular, and we're reprising it this new year, and it's in collaboration with Autostraddle. So Rachel is here from Autostraddle. She's going to talk a little bit more about the amazing organization that Autostraddle is. I will say a personal note from myself that's where I learned that I was a switch and how to actually do that. So yeah, so near and dear to my heart. And here, Autostraddle is the world's most popular website for lesbian and bisexual women and trans people of all genders, covering culture, news, queer sex and dating, and of course, your favorite gay TV and movie coverage. Yeah, super, super great online site, and we're really stoked to have Autostraddle here with us. So why don't I hand it over to Rachel to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about your dating experience.
Hi, thank you, Nicole. It's really good to be here. Thank you guys for including Autostraddle in this and for including me specifically. I've had so much fun planning it. I work at Autostraddle. I'm the managing editor, which means that on sort of a day-to-day basis, a lot of the things, the tasks involved in getting content published, getting things done behind the scenes are what I handle. One of the things I do is that for the last couple of years, I've been sort of the point person for all of our sex and dating content. So we've had a lot of fun. We've published a lot of kind of 101 style articles that cover a lot of what we're trying to get at in this series about like really just the basics of how to date as a queer woman or a non-binary person, especially because, a lot of the stuff that is sort of, talked about in popular culture is really more applies to straight culture. And a lot of the specific things about how to even meet people are things that no one tells us. So I feel like it's so important for us to actually talk about this stuff. And it's so great that we finally have kind of apps and spaces online where we can meet each other and don't have to just sort of randomly guess. Personally, I was actually married for a long time and I got divorced a few years ago in 2018. And so have had this sort of exciting experience of starting to casually date in my 30s because I was only 24 when I got married. And so have really had this like what is supposed to be sort of an early in life experience where you're getting to know people and dating casually later in life, even though I came out when I was pretty young. So that's been kind of interesting to watch happen. And also I kind of got into dating after my divorce when I kind of moved to the Midwest, even though I'm from the East Coast originally. And I don't know if anyone else has ever made that transition or moved from one coast to another, but it's super different culturally. Just the way that people interact or expect you to speak to them and kind of social norms are really different. So it's been fun trying to, getting into the dating pool for the first time as a grown up and also sort of figuring out like, in the Midwest, I'm not even supposed to say, excuse me, when I need to get around someone at the supermarket because that's rude here. Like, and kind of figuring out all of these little social norms. So it's been really funny. But it's also been a lot of fun. And it's really great to be kind of casually dating and getting to know that part of myself and have fun with it for the first time. And so I am seeing someone right now and also, have been dating on and off for a few years. And I'm excited to get to talk about it with y'all.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. And just a quick shout out to a couple of folks from her, Melody, who will come on and talk a little bit about other upcoming events with her. Really stoked to have her. And we also have Chris running tech producing, waves all around. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's do a little dating experience check. So how would you describe your queer dating experience? 1 equals new to the game, 2, you're doing all right, and 3, your player status. So we've seen lots of 1s, cool. Some 2s, 2.5, 1.5. Is there less
Everyone
than
was super
1?
ready for that question.
Yes. All right, cool. This is perfect. Wherever you are is exactly where you should be. So
I love all the people bringing decimals, like wanting to get really specific.
People can't commit. That's what I see. So if you know me, you know I love slides. So I'm going to share some slides. I want to kind of give you an overview of what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. So can everyone see slides? Just make sure I'm all good. Okay. So this 4-part series is designed to take you through pre-dating, so pre-swiping, before you get on apps, all the way through the relationship talk. So most of what we'll cover, as Rachel kind of touched on, is probably not queer per se, but about dating and connecting in general, and especially focused for COVID times. So how to date during COVID. So each session stands alone, but we're kind of going to build off on each other as well. And it starts today with dating preparedness. So we're going to give you all the essentials, figuring out what you really, really want, and mindset tips to make dating fun. and then how to create a killer profile. And we're going to look at some of your profiles, including Rachel and my own. So that should be fun and super nerve-wracking. On Thursday, we're going to have Flirting 101, which is a panel with Autostraddle's dating download experts. So super stoked. We'll have Danny, Drew, and Shelly for that. So definitely tune in for that. That will be really focused on you've matched on a dating app. How do you text someone? How do you drive it towards the first date? How do you avoid ghosting? How do you keep the conversation going? So excited about that. And then on our third session is 1 week from now. It's called Nailing the First Date, and this one's super fun. We're going to talk about how to plan and prep for your first date, whether it's in real life or on Zoom. And then we're going to watch a live first date with Sinead, who runs social here at Her and is just a smoke show. You'll hear a little bit about her later in today's session, and you will get the chance to enter to win a date with her. So very, very exciting. I did it last time, and it was perhaps one of the most nerve-wracking experiences. I think actually Andrea is on this call too, but it was a really fun experience, and we still keep in contact. And then our last session next week, Thursday, is about everything else that happens after the first date. We will focus, though, on two really important talks, the pre-sex or first-time sex talk, and then the relationship talk. So that one will be with Keita Adams, who is a relationship coach out of Austin, and it'll be more of a Q&A expert session. So super stoked about that. Awesome. Okay. So my hope is that you'll come out of this with a mindset of abundance and playfulness towards dating. So if there's anything you take away from this 4-part series, it's how to have the right mindset to enjoy dating. So a lot of people really get frustrated and it's draining or it's exhausting. And what I'm hoping you walk away with is like just playfulness, like fun, like enjoying yourself through the dating process. You're also going to learn tips and tricks to put into action. So from me and hopefully from this group, from everyone in this community. And it's really going to be important that you go away and actually do it because the magic can't happen unless you actually put it into action. And we hope that you make new connections. That's why we've asked you to keep your video on. You know, maybe they'll be friends, lovers, pen pals, whatever, partners, and just get to meet people in the global community and maybe even in your location. So that could be exciting. And at the beginning of every session will be kind of like this. I'll highlight the key takeaways and you will go off and make the magic happen. So as I mentioned, today we'll focus on pre-swiping and you'll get a clear sense of what you really want. And a hint, it's not really Janelle Monáe, even if you think it is. You'll be able to articulate your red flags and your green flags and make healthy mindset shifts to make dating fun. And we'll spend a good amount of time on how to craft the killer profile. So choosing the right pictures and words. And I've chosen that word right purposefully because we're not just trying to do thirst traps all the way through. We're trying to pick the most appropriate words and pictures to represent the best version of yourself. So what we're going to start with is a really quick visualization exercise. This is to really get in touch with what you're looking for. So if you want to like gently close your eyes here, don't worry, I won't look at everyone with their eyes closed. We're just going to take a moment to tap into kind of some positive vibes into the best version of yourself and envision the future from that place of strength and connection. So imagine a time where you felt really like that best version of yourself, really in tune and just really, really whole and satisfied. And kind of drop into that, taking some deep breaths, feel where your feet are, and just feel very grounded. And now I want you to picture yourself in your ideal relationship, paying attention to how you feel. And what do you see? What are you hearing? Maybe what do you taste? What do you smell? What are you touching? Who are you with? And when you drop into your body and your heart, what are 1 to 3 feelings or emotions or words that come up for you in this space? In this space of love and connection and being the best version of yourself. And when you're ready, you can gently open up your eyes and type into chat what those 1 to 3 words were for you. So I will start with Rachel. What were your 3 words?
Ooh, pop quiz. I think words I had were sort of like connected, like, feeling a strong sense of a connection to another person, but also to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling secure, like very stable, and like, confident and kind of, grounded in that. And I feel like I couldn't kind of, maybe you can help me. I couldn't like totally land on a word for the last one, but a feeling of kind of being like alive or like activated, like feeling like something is like really happening for you and like you're sort of engaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
What were yours?
Mine are connection, uh, belonging, and adventure.
Those are
Awesome.
great. That's a good like balance across the board.
Thanks. People are calling out your cat, by the way.
Yeah, would everyone like to meet her? This is Momo. She will probably continue to be present.
Nice. Going to the chat, we've got kindness, warmth, bubbliness, share, breakfast warm. Yeah, interesting, hungry. Safe, seen, and loved, warmth, engaged, playful. So nice. Really nice words people are coming up with. So the reason why we do this somewhat hippie exercise is that these are the key feelings that you're really aiming for. And I really want to emphasize this because you don't really want something that looks good on paper, because I think we've all been in lackluster relationships that just don't give you those feelings that you really want. And recognizing that the feelings are really the ends that you want, and the relationship is one means to get those feelings, and that there are many paths, many potential partners or activities that can give you those feelings, not just a relationship. So it can be helpful to remind yourself of that, maybe make a vision board or like write the words down to remind yourself through that. So now that you know what you're looking for, let's expand on some of the mindset principles that are going to help you get there and really help make dating a fun process for you. So I am going back to slides. So the first one is a little bit of math, that 1 plus 1 has to be greater than 2. So making sure that you check in with yourself and really do the work and self-care. So you're not depending on someone to make you feel whole, to make you feel happy, or that someone else isn't depending on you to make them feel happy. And that can feel really good in the beginning if that's the dynamic, but over time it will be very unsustainable. So you want to focus on like enjoying your life right now, so the happily ever now, and knowing what gives you pleasure and what makes you feel like that best version of yourself, knowing your needs and how to fulfill them. Second, you want to focus on abundance and not scarcity. So you wouldn't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. So you definitely don't want to be dating when you're horny. So don't be horngry, is a term I coined. And you don't want to be swiping or doing any dating activities when you're feeling, really desperate or frustrated or lonely. You want to limit social media and avoid upward or downward comparisons, because that will really make you feel potentially lonely. And again, realizing that a partner is only one option to get the feelings that you want. So really focusing on the abundance of ways and relationships, friends, family, your own activities that can bring you those feelings. And third, you want to cultivate a growth mindset. So you don't have to be any good at any of this. right now. And the key word that you want to add to anything is the word yet. So you're not, I don't know how to flirt on text yet. There's no degree in dating that you're trying to get. You're just trying to enjoy that process of getting to know someone, experiencing life, and constantly learning and growing. And if you question your ability to learn and grow, if you don't crawl on the ground now, then you're probably doing a good job at learning and growing. So you've definitely learned and grown throughout your life. So this is all the same, right? You're going to continue to learn and grow in dating. And then you want to see dating as getting down the funnel to your end game. And so, that's like the three parts are meeting someone, getting to know them, and then whatever your end game is, whether it's, friends with benefits or, a one night stand or your life partner, remembering what you're trying to aim towards. And because you want to get down the funnel, it's really good to have rejection in both directions, right? You want that hell yes or hell no, because anything in the middle of that, a maybe, is just hell. I think we've all been there at some point, right? And so if you get rejected, it's just helping you get down your funnel. And with an abundance mindset, you know that there's a lot of options coming down the top of the funnel. So get excited about rejection, and we'll talk about it again in the next session. So, with COVID, some of these steps might have gotten harder, like meeting people or getting to know them. But, we can still date during COVID. And for most of this presentation, you can have whatever end game you want, but I will be assuming the goal of a kind of long-term-ish monogamous partner. So again, that's just for this series, but you do you. So you want to keep these mindset tips in mind. I'm going to bring them up every single session and hope that you can start to implement these. All right, so turning towards red flags and green flags, this part's super important, right? To help you guide you through the rest of the dating process from swiping onwards. And now is the time to maybe go into your dating past and hopefully not repeat history. So I would like to know, what are your red flags or your very red flag deal breakers? I've put some of mine here, and these all come from real life experiences. So straight, emotionally unavailable, so many flavors of that one. Poor Uber rating. I had a friend ask me what number is for. I also don't actually have a great Uber rating, so but it's more like a proxy, looking at how people treat wait staff and things like that, and then calling all exes crazy, because it makes you go like, well, are they all crazy, or are you? So, Rachel or Melody, what are some of your red flags?
I'm curious to hear Melody's. Or not. That's also fine. I know
because
that.
she. Oh, there we go.
There. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Oh, I have some good ones. No job, no car. That's like, I live in California. You can't not have a car. That's like, we have terrible transportation, so you have to have a car. Mean drunks. I am a lover of alcohol, but I'm happy with one or two drinks. And if someone can't control their liquor and can't act right, that's a problem. What are other ones? Just not ambitious or hardworking. You don't have to make $1 million a year. You just have to be passionate about what you do and spend the most time doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, good list. All right. So when you're swiping, you want to definitely have your red flag list out next to you, and it will save you lots of headache. If you're really into monogamy and then someone's poly and they're super hot, like, that's just going to create a world of pain for you. So try to be true to yourself. It doesn't matter what's on your red flag list, but try to honor yourself through that and your boundaries. So it's also important, you know, to not just focus on the negatives. And for some people, they're very selective and picky. And I know Melody is one of these people. And sometimes, or you mentioned in the last series, and swiping left is, sorry, swiping right is as important as swiping left. So if you tend to be someone who's super picky, you might want to be focused on your green flags and swipe right for that. So what are some of your green flags or turn on? So for me, laughter is probably number one for me, and being aware of your needs. Yeah. Let's let Melody finish this one out. Yeah. Melody is
The
yes,
mute
here we
stuff.
go.
I'm
Here we
sorry.
go.
Thank you. The first thing that came to my mind is credit score. Obviously, they don't have to tell me their credit score, but I feel like, you know, that's something I've been working on. And, you know, if you have a bad credit score, that's, you know, but I'm old. So that's probably not something that you look for when you're 23, but you know, I'm old.
Melody, what's
So.
your sign? I'm really curious.
I'm a Sagittarius.
Interesting. Wow. You're a very responsible Sagittarius.
Yeah. I never hear anything good about Sagittarius. So
People like that Sag energy. People are always saying things like that. And I'm always like, what does that even mean?
yeah.
Oh no, I love Sages. I have such a weakness for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So credit score was my first thing that came to mind. That was like an amazing thing. Just confidence. Confidence is a beautiful thing in all things.
Yeah. Translates well into the bedroom.
Yes. Yes. In all facets of life.
Yeah. What's your number one green flag, Rachel?
Honestly, like just directness and clarity, like knowing what they want, being able to tell me what they want, whether that's like what we're getting for dinner and for takeout, or whether it's like what they want in a relationship. And even if it's something that like doesn't line up with me or something that I don't necessarily agree with, like having someone just be able to say that and not having to like guess or read their mind or find out through passive aggressive is just so hot, and like is such a big sign that we're going to click, I think, overall.
Transparency was what I would uh, get out of that. That for me, that's a huge thing. Transparency.
Yeah, and I think it really builds trust too, because I think there's always that sense, or there can be that sense of like, oh, is something wrong and they're not telling me? Are they mad about this? Did they not like that thing I did? And when you really have really a lot of faith from someone's past behavior that like, no, because they would tell me, like, I think it is such a good foundation for something really healthy, no matter how serious or casual or platonic even it is.
Nice. Yeah, communication is really key, transparency, and we'll talk a lot about that in our next session, as well as the fourth session on those talks, the sex and the relationship talks. So awesome. So really, it doesn't matter what's on your red or green flag list. It's about being really clear and honest with yourself, what you really want and where your needs and boundaries are. And what types of expectations and beliefs you're holding. So definitely make those lists. That will be a homework item later. And now we're gonna go from pre-swipe mentality. So we figured out what we really want, those three feelings that we're really trying to bring into our lives. We've looked at the mindset principles that can really help make dating fun. And then we've identified our red and green flags to start swiping. And now, before we can really get into the dating apps, we need to create our profiles. So how many apps are you active in right now? Chat in the chat. I'm curious about this. 0104503210. All right, so maybe 1 to 3 seems to be the main ones. Okay, so now we're gonna spend some time on how to make a killer profile. So for your profile, you want to figure out what 3 themes or features about yourself you want to communicate to your target. So you're gonna start by making a long list of your awesome superpowers. this should be a really fun exercise for yourself too, and be very empowering. And then you're going to try to understand your target. So whoever you'd like to date, try to understand what their green flags are. There are different ways you can do this. You can try to talk to friends who are like your target, or maybe they are your target. But try to get in the minds of your target, and then and what their green flags are, and then what's the overlap from that, right? And that's going to be the three features that you want to communicate in your profile. A couple notes here. The top three for your target might not be the same ones you would select for yourself. And the thing is that you want to always keep your target in mind, right? You're trying to market yourself to them. You're not trying to market yourself to yourself, because you presumably already love yourself. You want to like appeal to someone else. And remember that we're trying to get down the funnel. So there are trade-offs between just throwing all the thirst traps on there and getting all the right swipes, but then you're going to have to like wade through the muck, and you're misrepresenting yourself or omitting something, and then it's going to come out when you're trying to assess fit anyways. And we are not door-to-door salespeople hawking shitty knives. It can feel like you're trying to sell yourself, but we're really just trying to share with other people what option is available to them. And you're not forcing it, you're not lying, and you really believe, hopefully, that the goods are great, right? Like, you're awesome. And it's the most important thing that you feel that way, for all the reasons we discussed before about really feeling whole on your own, feeling like you can satisfy your own needs. So making sure that you have that kind of, grounded, positive mentality as you create your profile. So hopefully, Rachel, you've had a chance to think about your three themes or features as I've been rambling. What are yours?
I think so. I feel like I think I don't know if we're still doing this, but I think we might get to actually look at them later if we look at my profile. But I feel like the things that I realized looking at my own profile, I ended up emphasizing was like a lot of capability, like, really kind of being a grown up, and kind of emphasizing that, I guess subconsciously emphasizing that, like, oh, I'm not the kind of person you're going to have to like take care of, or like, be a parent to. And also that's, kind of what I'm looking for. But I think that's like a very desirable quality. Definitely humor. I think I've learned the hard way that like, even if somebody is super nice or super hot and like just seems like a really great person, like if I don't think they're funny, it's just not really going to go anywhere. And I think definitely like a sense of values, which I know is broad and vague, but I think when we were thinking about red flags, like I think actually a red flag for me is people who say like, oh, I don't really care about politics, or like, oh, I try to stay out of that stuff, because I think that's such a telling sort of characteristic at this point in time. So definitely like including stuff that sort of advertises values about community, about solidarity, about kind of what you stand for.
Nice. Great. Thanks for sharing that. Mine are somewhat similar. Humor, like humorous and fun person. I'm curious about lots of things, and adventure, because I'm adventurous. I like to travel and try everything a lot of times. So this is good because when we go through our profiles, we can assess whether we're actually communicating those things or not. So before we dive into actually making the profile, for your homework, I'm just assigning homework as we go. I'm so drunk on the power of it. But I'm going to task you with checking out someone in this webinar that catches your eye for whatever reason. And Chris placed the prompt there. So what you want to do is DM them privately, or we can all read it. That's cool too. To ask for feedback on your profile. And this is more of an exercise to meet someone like not without any expectation and get some feedback. And this isn't about hooking up. It can be, but this isn't about hooking up. We're crowdsourcing that feedback. So it's also fine to decline if someone asks you for feedback. It's all about consent as well. But yeah, hopefully you can help another member in the community out. So go ahead and contact people privately or publicly. I'm always stoked to see what people's DMs look like. So now we'll move to creating that profile. So you really want to curate the pictures and words to create an awesome trailer for that full feature film that is you. I should write that. That's so poetic. What would you think about a haiku? Rachel, you're a writer, so a haiku is a profile.
I think that would really set this dating workshop apart. You know, I don't think a lot of others deliver their advice in verse.
Oh man, the whole thing in iambic pentameter. That would be a thing.
I think that's just Shakespeare. Like, I think that's just what the plays are.
It's just one. It was just one dating profile. It's like
he has a lot of relationship advice in there, you know.
Yeah, in sonnet style. So yeah, what we're gonna do is talk about pictures and words on the bio. So there's a lot of different elements to profiles and different dating apps, but most of them have photos and written bios. There's sometimes attributes you can select, like, you know, your political stance or like whether you drink, etc. There's sometimes open-ended question prompts and different pins you can choose, but for the purpose of this session, we'll just focus on photos and the bio. So moving to pictures. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. What is good to do to create your profile is to, on your phone, create a folder just for your dating pictures, so that you have it all in one place and you're not having to scroll through everything. And then that way you can, if you're super nerdy, you can A/B test different pictures and different profiles. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. So I'm going to go over some general advice. There are a lot of contradicting information out there. So I did a lot of Google scraping and looking at different dating sites and photograph sites. And with the caveat that a lot of this is pretty heteronormative, so take everything with a grain of salt there. So for your face, apparently your left side is your more attractive side, and you want to kind of angle down. Looking away or candid photos are really popular, including, you know, when you tell your friend, all right, take a candid photo now. Smiling with teeth, having it in portrait mode where you are clear and the background's blurry, so not the opposite, because I've seen some of those too. And you, for full body things, you want to wear a color that pops. Red seems to resonate for women, but I think that's probably heteronormative. But I don't know. What do people think in chat? Is red attractive to you? Yes or no? How about you, Rachel?
I think it depends on the person, you know.
On the person wearing the red?
Yeah, you know, I think a good photo is a good photo. I think it I think anything that where like it feels really authentic to that person. I guess I'm having a hard time remembering if I've had like seen someone wearing red and had a strong reaction. I think the person in this photo with the bike looks like they're having a lovely time. I'm glad they, you know, got to go outdoors and, you know, get some fresh air.
Yeah. I think I put this photo because of the red, but also you want to take up more space in your photo. So like sometimes, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this one. People have like really beautiful landscapes and they're really tiny in it, but it's a cool landscape and it shows like you're super outdoorsy. So I don't know, take that one with a grain of salt, and check backgrounds, right? Like you don't want clutter or like dirty laundry or like whatever in the background for your photos. So some do's here: try to take pictures in natural light or outdoors. Or outdoors. It helps to hide blemishes and wrinkles, or better yet, try to take photos during the golden hour, which is, I don't know, around 6 or 7, depending where you are. And camera flash, apparently, I don't know how they made this number up, but it adds 7 years. So yeah, no camera, Melody, no camera flash. That's shocking, right? Try to have a photo or all your photos be recent, like in the last 1 to 2 years, or that it accurately reflects you. Again, this is about getting down the funnel, not just thirst trapping everyone. That it's not blurry. And that first picture really matters. So ideally have strangers selected for you, and ideally strangers in your target group, because you know too much about yourself, so you have a lot of context, and so you want to have like a stranger select that. Sometimes including activities or hobbies like sports that can show a little bit more about you, about your personality. And this is a mixed one about mixed thoughts on group photos. So definitely don't have so many people that people are like, which one are you? And also, you want to be big enough to see as well. And it's probably good to have it be a fun activity like a night out. And here's one that's also controversial about being in the group photo. Everyone should be relatively the same level of attractiveness. And you should still be the hottest one. So if you don't have friends that fall in that group, you better go make some new friends so you can take that group photo. And then, a sexy one, question mark, like how scandalous or racy would you put here? And you'll see my profile now, and there's a couple racy ones in there. So I'll be interested in hearing everyone's thoughts. Some don'ts: no sunglasses, hats, beach photos, selfies with potential significant others or partners or kids, unless that's something you want to communicate. So if it's like your nephew, you don't really want to leave anything to chance of like being misinterpreted, because they might not get to reading your bio. So don't leave anything up in the air, even if you have that super cute picture with like the baby, unless that's something you want to communicate. So that is some tips. So really quick, this is going to be pop quiz round. So how do people feel about Snapchat filters? Yes or no? Y or N? No, yes, thank you. This makes me feel much better. Some people like it. I'm not going to totally trash it, but Snapchat filters. How about photos with no one in it? This was very controversial in our last series because pets, just pets. We've got, so we're on yes to pets. No, pets are good. Okay, it's pretty mixed again. Okay, how about linking to your IG? Do we like that? Linking with IG. It's going so fast. I'm not sure what people are responding to, but I'm seeing both yes and no. So
yeah, a lot of
pretty mixed. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Moving on to the bio section. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, words are also worth words. So the bottom line is like, do it. Actually write it. Everyone hates it. Even writers hate writing this. But it's an opportunity to share more of your awesomeness and communicate more about you so you can more quickly get down the funnel. So again, writing that bio with your target in mind. There's many, many ways to do this, and we're going to see some of them, I think, in the profiles we're going to look at. But I've given an easy template that you can follow, which is, what are you offering? Those kind of 3 themes or features that you want to highlight. What are you looking for? So maybe including 2 or 3 of your green flags, and then a little special something that makes you stand apart and how much of a unique snowflake you are. So maybe it's humor or shock, or you've got a masterful use of emojis, but something that makes you stand apart and makes them want to swipe right to learn more. So what I want to know about things you swipe left on is, what are pet peeves you swipe left on? Smokers, okay. Duck lips, ooh, bathroom selfies. Fishing, like, okay. Launch children, duck lips, filters, elitism. Uh-oh, you're not gonna like my profile. Too much makeup. Okay, yeah, so there's so many, people have all sorts of diversity of taste, and I think that's an important thing to note too, like you're not trying to win a popularity contest here. You're trying to find someone who matches you. So unicorn hunters, yes. All right, now the fun time to go through some profiles. This is so fun. So Rachel's super excited for this because we're going to start with hers. And so I'm going to model what you're going to end up doing when you do your homework with someone hopefully you found. So you're going to ask the person, what are the 3 features or themes that you're trying to highlight in your profile? So I'll start with that. Rachel.
Oh my, I'm answering this. Okay. I think that I wanted to give some kind of, like we said, I wanted to kind of emphasize that I'm like capable and a grown up. So I included that I can parallel park. I live in a city. Parallel parking is like, you know, a useful skill.
100%.
And that I'm in therapy. You're good. And that I can make a really good breakfast sandwich, which I can. I also wanted to, I guess, give like, I don't know, not jokes exactly, but give a sense that I have a personality, and kind of imply that I will be funny and like fun to hang out with if we actually get to that. And I think also, you know, I just really wanted to give people something that they like can respond to. Like there's enough in here between like pop culture interests or, you know, personality or kind of my values that that was something that like they could easily see if they kind of responded to it or not, and could say like, oh, either I really vibe with this or like I really don't.
Yep.
And something that they can start a conversation about if they want to. There's stuff here that you can respond to or kind of get into and be like, oh, what's happening with this, or make a joke about if that's your vibe. And also, you know, I told you at the beginning about how I'm not from the Midwest. And so I really did want to emphasize that, which I know sounds mean, but, you know, I think if that's something people aren't going to vibe with, then I would rather that they know that right away.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So then I'm going to look at the lead picture because a lot of people don't swipe past, like they'll swipe on the first photo. So you want to have that one be your most representative. I like this one. We were talking about this earlier and I was like, Rachel, you're not into smiling photos. But maybe that's fine.
You had a lot of thoughts on that. And I'm because I was like thinking about this going into it, and I was like, I think I'm smiling in these photos. And I was like, I'm looking at them now and I'm like, I'm not. Like the one on the top left, which I felt so called out by everyone who was like, I don't like bathroom photos, which, you know, this is like clearly in my shower. But okay, like, you know, I live in a basement apartment. It's the only place that has good light. But I in my head I was smiling in that, but actually what it is just that like the corner of my mouth is like, you know, slightly twitching, but like in my head that's a smile, you know.
You've got Jane Austen vibes, which are also really cool.
I could just be like alone in an attic forever. That sounds great.
I just find it funny because in real life you smile a lot, so that's more.
It's like a fun surprise for anyone that I meet.
Yeah. Okay. Fun surprise. Then you'll look at the other pictures. There's like a diversity of contexts, and there's other people in this. And then look at the bio. So the feedback you want to share is like your first impressions. Does this profile highlight those 3 themes or features, and one good thing and one improvement area? So yeah, I think it highlights those areas that, you know, you're being an adult and conversation starters and humorous, and the values you have. So it definitely highlights that. And I mean, my personal feedback would be a little bit more smiling, but like you have a good diversity of like face photos, body photos, some group photos. It looks like, you know, you're a writer, so like you have the tools of the craft there. So yeah, I dig it. I think for what the target you're trying to attract, like this totally works. Cool. Later you can go read the chat, as this is always like fun to see.
I know, you guys are so funny. The chat has been killing me the whole time.
It's funny. we're not actually going to critique my profile, but I felt I should, out of solidarity, show mine because I did it last
Yes, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So here we go. So this is mine. I've updated some of the photos. So I had a boudoir shoot. So I was like, ooh, I have no one to send thirst traps to. So I'm going to include it in my profile. So is this too racy is the question. Kind of that
I
middle
feel like
column.
it's like more than, if you were at the beach, it's more than you would be seeing,
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of the context though, right?
hmm
No, but I like it. I think
Yeah, you look gorgeous in that photo.
thank you. Yeah, and so for me, it's about being humorous and fun, curious and adventurous. So, the shark photo, Burning Man, being involved in queer stuff. It is a little bit elitist for sure, this one. But, like I'm just trying to be really transparent about like people being independent and having their shit together. And everyone's got the emotional baggage. So looking for that compatible luggage. Yeah. So, anyways, any brief feedback, Rachel?
First of all, I didn't even see the shark at first. I was like, oh, wow, it looks like snorkeling or scuba diving. That's so cool. And then someone in the chat was like, wow, a shark. And I like lost it. Um, Very impressive. Like really great get for a dating app photo. No, I think you do have a lot of smiling photos, which I can see the appeal. You're right. I love that you have photos of you like doing things, which really kind of backs up. I think it's great, especially like putting on my work voice. Like it's great when the visual assets or when kind of the design and the graphics or something like reinforce the text, right, and the content. So like you talked about being adventurous, like looking for events and unique experiences, and it's great that your photos like really show that by showing you have a lot of unique experiences. You're like, look, I'm literally doing it, and like this is the kind of thing I enjoy doing. Like if you would also enjoy doing this, and if you can see yourself here, then like we would be a good fit. I love that. I actually really love the sort of like very old school personals, like me, colon, I'm like this, you, colon, you're like
Mm.
this, because it is genuinely really helpful. I think we talked before this event when we were just chatting about how sometimes we don't get it when people like disqualify certain people, like, oh, like if you are taller than 5'6", I'm not gonna swipe on you, which is sort of like, okay, then just don't do that. You don't have to say it. But alternatively, I love it when people identify what they are looking for.
Mm.
And that makes me it helps me know kind of what to expect, but also helps me know that they know what they're looking for, which is so great. And it helps me figure out kind of like based on their whole deal and my deal, kind of like how this is going to go. Like, if there's somebody who I think is really hot and a great fit, but then what they're looking for is like, I'm really looking for someone with a PhD who wants to have 6 kids. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you're so hot and it's also not going to work out. Like, have a good one. I'm wishing you the best. So I love that. I think this makes it really simple and like very easy for people to decide whether they want to pursue something with you.
Yeah, great feedback, Rachel. And I think calling out how to frame something you want as like a green flag instead of like listing your red flags out. And kind of the positive bent instead of like being like, I absolutely don't want X, right?
Totally. And it also makes it so easy, I think, for people, especially if they're kind of like more confident to reach out and pursue you. If you match with somebody, they can easily be like, wow, like, I'm a chapstick lesbian top. Like, great to meet you. Do you want to get a drink? Like, there you go. You're off to the races.
Yeah, that's a great point. Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. All right. Next we have Anaï. Yes. So exciting.
I
So
think we want
let
to back up
me
one.
unmute. Oh, sorry.
Hi.
Awesome. Anaï, welcome. So what were the 3 things you were aiming for?
I think I usually like match with people who is not in Mexico City for some reason. And so I put there like I'm in Mexico City, so we don't have to have that conversation. But I'm a photographer, I'm a tennis lover, but I'm not just a tennis lover. I like all sports, but tennis is my thing. So yeah, I just wanted to tell everyone that I like to travel, so I'm adventurous in that part, and I would like to meet like everyone basically. And like looking all type of connections, like friends, dates, everything in between is fine for me.
Okay, I feel like you just you should throw your IG in there. So, oh yeah, you already have your IG in there, so people can slide into your DMs after that. A great sell. Cool. So, Rachel, we are going to look at the lead photo and then the other photos in the bio and share our first impressions.
Yeah. I love the lighting in your photo. In the first photo, I think you look so beautiful, and it's such a good, like, I love that it shows your face, so also your expression, like a little bit of your style.
Mm. Yeah, I like smiling photos. I'm gonna say it again, but because Anna, you're such a like lively, bubbly person.
Sometimes,
Um,
yeah.
sometimes, but I mean, that maybe that's the one you want to lead with. But uh, I will say that I really liked the tattoo one actually, because I was like, what is that? And then when I
Yeah.
looked at it again, I was like, whoa, they're French kissing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually like it's my first tattoo, so I just want to put it out there because I really love it because it's like genderless and they're kissing and I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's so
it looks
cool to show
dope.
that because it really like helps. It shows a little of your personality, you know? And it's also a nice thing where it's easy for someone to ask you about if you're making conversation, to ask if there's a story behind it or when you got it, you know, which I always think is fun.
Nice, cool. And do we think this profile highlights the three features? So you wanted to say that you're into travel and into tennis. Wait, what are the three themes about yourself you want to highlight?
I'm definitely not sure. Uh, I would like people to like get to know me. Like I don't know if like saying it on the profile will say like everything about me, but I mean mostly like I'm in sports and I like to travel and like
Yeah.
I mean
Okay.
yeah, mostly that.
Yeah. I also say you're goofy and introverted at times, but easygoing and chill. And yeah, I can see that. Actually, I'm not sure. Other than the last photo, like nothing looks super easygoing and chill here. So that would be
Mhm.
my feedback.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit tough to get kind of your context to like, you know, about kind of like where you are in the world, like what you like doing. Um, I think that and also like I think that only maybe I'm looking at you in person on the screen and like you have such a like distinct style, you know? Like I think that the way you dress and the way you take up space is like very stylish and also very distinct. And I think right now your pictures are like not quite showing me that. You know, like I
Mm,
wish that you could like take a
really?
picture from the screen right now. That would be like a great profile picture. Um, and even like, you know, how you style your hair and kind of more of your glasses. And I think something that shows your full outfit and kind of like how you are in the world would be so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. We are at the top of the hour, so if whoever wants to stay on, we're gonna keep rolling probably for another 10 to 20 minutes, because there's just too much great content here to not continue. So next up we have Haley. Haley, tell us about your three awesome superpower features that you'd like to communicate in your profile.
I think that my three would be empathetic, open-minded, and I like your adventurous. I do like to travel, and I usually promote that on my profiles, except for this year because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been one to write well about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that was more difficult for me. But I don't know, I think I have a hard time describing myself in other words that are more seen physically, I guess, and more characteristics that once you get to talking to me, you can see them more.
Okay, cool.
That's such a good, yeah, that's the thing I think a lot of people feel. And it is really hard it's kind of like writing a resume, right? Where it's like so hard to describe yourself in a way that's authentic and flattering, but also where you don't feel weird doing it.
Yeah.
So let me just make sure I capture this. Empathetic, adventurous, and what was the middle one? Did you say open-minded?
Open-minded.
Open-minded.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I definitely see open-minded here. I actually, my first impression is I really liked this profile. The lead pic is like super interesting, and then there's such a diversity of like things going on and personas, and yeah, but they still feel consistent, and I actually really liked the writing of it. So Let me pause there before I have follow-up questions. But Rachel, what were your kind of thoughts?
Yeah, no, I love these photos too. And I do think that, looking at Nicole's like list of do's and don'ts, like some of these are a little like, okay, so I can't totally see your face because you have sunglasses on in this one picture. But I think because you have such a range of photos, like it's okay. Like some are like more to serve kind of to show your personality, because this is sort of like an artistic photo, like your glasses are like hot pink, like, it shows a little about who you are. I think that one thing that is standing out to me, because you mentioned having kind of trouble articulating more about who you are in your bio, like, I think that it's great that you have as much text here as you do. I think it is a little broad. Like, I think a lot of the things you're describing, like when you're down for everything and anything, it's hard for someone to get a specific picture of who you are uniquely as a person, because like you're down for everything, And I wonder if, because it seems like from these photos, you kind of are very active, like you go out and do a lot of things, like you like to be engaged in doing things. I wonder if an easier way to like describe who you are or express something about yourself would be to like describe things you do or actions you take that are unique to you. Like, are there things where your friends are always like, oh, you know what Haley's always doing? Like, or kind of things that are external that people can notice that are characteristic of you. Like Haley's always the last one to leave a party. Or, you can always find Haley on the weekends at 2 a.m. getting a burrito. Like, things where you don't have to try to like talk about like who I am as a person inside, because that can get so hard and also vague.
Yeah.
But you can just talk about things you do or things habitually, or kind of the ways you show up in your life for other people's. And that can help get across who you are really well, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's nice having a professional writer critique your bio.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I really liked it. Some of these things are against the don'ts, but I think the sunglass photo is very aesthetic, and you have others, and looks like some sort of cosplay going on here. So yeah, it looks like you have specific activities you like. Not to mention boob photos. Yeah, they work for me for sure. I don't, this answered my question about photos.
Yeah, was a bit nerve-wracking all day. I actually have my friend on here for moral support, so she's experiencing this with me.
Throw your IG into it. I'm sure some people want to give you some suggestions for movies and whatever these things are. Yeah, it's a great profile. My one question is, how did you select which flower emojis to use?
I tried to use, I think I used all of the island flowers, and then what was left was like a sunflower.
Nice. Appreciate that as an islander.
And this was the only app that actually let me put these pictures on there.
That's awesome. I mean, we try to be as body positive and sex positive as we can be. So yeah, very nice. Great. Thanks, Haley.
Thanks.
Cool. And then our last profile is Emma. Is Emma on?
Hello.
Yes. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Emma.
Hi, everyone. It's so late here. It's 3 a.m. for me in the UK.
That's commitment.
Thank you so much for being here.
I need all the help I can get, so here I am.
So Emma, what are the 3 features of yourself that you'd like to highlight?
Definitely the nerdiness. That's a big one for me. I run D&D games for my friends. I'm really into like podcasts and video game stuff. I try to consume a lot of queer content, like new films when they come out. Happiest Season, obviously watched that a bunch of times. Read a lot of queer books, and then I have a little nod to politics right at the end there. I'm not ever sure how much to include in like a dating profile. I just sort of want to put it on the radar that's important to me without it being, I don't know, too much, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, Rachel, let's go through it. I would say on the writing that you just highlighted, it does accurately reflect what you're saying. And I like the line, "I might be a femme, but I'll catch the spider for you." That's like lesbian gold right there.
Yeah, that's the best part. I think I love your bio. I think it does such a great job like showcasing with very little text that you really who you are as a person. Like, it is nerdy, it's also funny, it's a little bit self-deprecating. It does a good job kind of stating what you are like, but with kind of setting boundaries a little bit, but in a way that's very lighthearted. No, I think this is the emojis are really funny, honestly. I think if I had any critique of the text, I think it kind of does something that a lot of us can do really easily, which is like it's easy to say sometimes for some reason it's easier for us to say what we don't want than what we are looking for. So maybe even kind of thinking a little bit, bringing in some of what Nicole has in her profile about like what you are looking for, either in what kind of relationship or what kind of partner or what kind of connection you're hoping to make here, whether it's dating or maybe you're looking for people to play D&D with. Like, I think that could maybe change a little bit about who you're meeting and talking to.
Yeah, thank you. I thought I might have too much text as it was, so it's kind of heartening to know that I can add more.
That's a very
totally.
British
no
thing, Emma.
Gonna be mad about it. Oh, is it? That's so cute.
Yeah, because Americans talk a lot, so this is not too verbose at all. And people, it's good. And then people have mixed thoughts on. I've heard mixed thoughts on like calling out BLM or not. Some people really want to see it, and it's important to them, and some people think it's politically controversial and maybe not a place for dating apps. But I think that one, if that's something that's really important to you, then it's probably good to include. But putting it on because it's trendy right now is probably not great either. But I think this goes back to just being authentic and what's really important to you and expressing that. Do you have any thoughts on that, Rachel, on BLM?
I definitely, I think if sort of going back to what I said, I think if somebody says something actively that makes me feel like, oh, I think a lot of the language that people tend to use there, and it's like, oh, I don't like to get involved, or like I try to, I don't like to avoid controversy. That to me is a red flag. But to me, I think a lot of people in my area will have BLM, will have no Trump supporters, will have things like that. And that's always fine to me. I guess I do feel, especially with white folks where I live, like there's also a certain level to where it can be a little performative. And I think to me, it brings up sort of like, it's great to have this in your profile. That is a plus to me. I also want to sort of actually see that, like, does this show up in your life? Like, it should also be clear in terms of how you interact with me and kind of how you're living your life, that this isn't just something in your profile. And so for me, it's not a deal breaker to not have it. And I do think it helps clarify, like, if that's a big problem for somebody and it is an important value to you, then like, great, that's a good thing to not match. But I do think that, if this is something you want to include, I think also be prepared when you're matching with people to sort of talk about like, how is this a part of your life? Like, what does that mean to you? And kind of think about if something is important enough to include to you in your profile, being able to kind of talk about it in a real way.
Yeah, good point. And then Emma, to go to your pictures, couple of notes on this. They're very similar photos, right? I think you're wasting a lot of opportunity to kind of show different contexts, different activities that you're involved in. Maybe the headphones is D&D, but it's hard to really tell that. I'm not a big fan of filters, but some people are. And on the last one, no teens, please, kind of what Rachel and I have been talking about of like phrasing things more positively of what you are looking for versus what you're not looking for.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I definitely want to take some more photos. It's just obviously difficult with COVID to try and actually take some more active photos, some photos that are taken by other people as well is a bit tough at the moment. But yes, absolutely, I hear what you're saying.
Totally. I think one thing for COVID even, which also gets back to some of what Nicole was saying about lighting and natural light earlier, is that even just taking selfies when you go for a walk outside can be great. You get a change of lighting, you get a change of scenery, you get like some trees or something in the background. And even if like, I don't know about y'all, but like definitely one thing people around here have been just going for like socially distanced walks, like It's winter now, but when it was nicer, I was meeting friends in like public gardens and stuff. And definitely like, you know, a fun, especially if you have other friends who are trying to get into dating or kind of get back on apps, it can be really affirming for both of you to be like, listen, like I need some new profile photos. Like, do you want to go for a walk and take photos for each other? Like that would be really helpful. And a lot of people are all really relieved to have the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely think about that.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Emma. So we are a bit over. So what I'm going to do is kind of close up here, but at the very end, after we do all our announcements, I'm going to play the video teaser of Sinead. So okay, so this is super exciting. So this is Sinead. Melody and I know her personally. She's just a smoke show, total 10. And last series, I did the first date, but I've roped Sinead in to do it this time, and she's super stoked. This is her profile. I actually think it's quite amazing. And she will be going on the live first date 1 week from now. And when we post all the links on the event landing page, you can enter to win a date with her. So you'll just kind of share your IG and her profile, and then she will select one of you to do a live first date. So after we wrap here, at the very end, in case people do have to drop off, I'm going to play a short 5-minute video, kind of like get to know the Bachelorette, that Sinead and I recorded earlier this week, since it's 3 a.m. in London right now, which is where she lives. So yeah, something to look forward to. Definitely enter if you're interested. And let me wrap this session. So homework, like I said, the magic only happens when you go off and do it. So your homework for this session is to identify your red and green flags. I highly recommend writing it down so you can look at it and remind yourself. And then, try to do this profile feedback with hopefully someone you've met on the session today. It's not too late. If you haven't, go look for someone and DM them. And yeah, and enter to win a date with Sinead. Our next session is going to be that amazing panel with our Autostraddle dating download experts. I've gotten to meet them already. They are an amazing group of people, and it's going to be super interesting. They have made it their job to date and write about it. So you're going to learn how to flirt, what I like to call socially top, to get from that match to the first date. So before I close it up with Sinead's video, I'm going to toss it to Melody to share some announcements. We didn't give her power to unmute herself, so.
Poor Melody has been like trapped there the whole time.
I'm trying to ask her to unmute. Maybe it's Chris who has
Here I am. Yes, I know. You know what? It's almost better that way, Nicole, because you would have been like on hour 3 if you would have let me talk. So it's so much great content. So thank you. But my name is Melody. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm also an event producer and community manager for the Her Social app. And since last May, I have had the privilege of hosting our Queer Woman movie night every Wednesday. So tomorrow is hump day. So we will be watching, The Handmaiden, which is an amazing film that was done a few years ago. I have never seen it, so I'm super excited. I actually have a really weird pet peeve that I can't see movies twice. I break the rule very rarely, only to watch with a Zoom room full of amazing queer people from around the world. So if you are available tomorrow night, please come be my date, 6:30 p.m. This is me asking you all out to come and hang out with me and some really amazing people. I do see some familiar faces here, so thank you all for coming tonight. But it's a really, really great time. As Nicole said and mentioned, I have seen Love Connections during the pandemic. I have seen U-Hauls, cross-country, full-on love stories, engagements, and all. So it can happen to you. Come And other than finding love, just come with like good vibes, because some amazing things have happened. I've seen some really great friendships. I've seen coming out queer, coming out trans. It's just this amazing safe space. And I literally count the days down until Wednesday hump day, when I get to be with my favorite people. So come tomorrow, The Handmaiden. It's going to be a really great night.
Thanks, Melody. Melody is the best host of movie night, and The Handmaiden is like, when you said you were doing that, I was like, whoa, okay.
I have been warned, so I'm super excited.
It's racy in a good way. There are always good ways, though. Yeah, I saw a couple of questions too about the recording for this video. We will be posting it on our Facebook page. But if you go to our IG, in our link tree is the event landing page for this whole series. So if you've missed the recording, if you missed someone's IG, if you like want to register for the other events, it's all in one place. So the only thing you need to know is to go to her app IG and go to the link tree with all the links. So
definitely. And I also just want to add, I know people are getting off, but that if you would love more information on this, or if you kind of want some more discussion of some of these topics, we're also rerunning a lot of our one-on-one dating content on Autostraddle these 2 weeks to complement this series. So right now we have articles up on the website about getting your confidence and getting in a good headspace for dating, about what to write in a dating profile, and about pictures to choose that complement a lot of what Nicole's saying. So feel free to check out autostraddle.com. They're also all linked in our Insta story right now.
Yeah, great call out. And we have those links on the event landing page as well. So really great content if you want to like deep dive. And then on her too, we've been including that in our social as well. So yeah, you can continue the studies after the session. So if you need to drop off, thank you for staying this long, a little bit 20 minutes after. I tried so hard to condense the content, but it's just so good. And we wanted to get to everyone's profile. So I am going to share this video, and it will also be online in case you miss it now on the event landing page on our Facebook as well. So let me share the screen here. Welcome, Sinead. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Before we get into it, can you tell me a little bit about what you're wearing today?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked, because, you know, this Zoom camera does cut off at the bottom. I've got a lovely little leopard print top on with my little dragon necklace. And I thought it went with the blonde in my hair quite well. So I've got a little bit of color coordination going on at the moment.
It does. It does. What came first, the outfit or the hair?
Actually, the outfit actually came first. I got a new yellow suit recently, and then I thought to myself, you know what will go really well with yellow? Blonde. So now I keep wearing like yellow tone things just to match the hair. But yeah, I did like a whole head of braids just to match an outfit. But you know what? It's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
You're definitely committed. I can appreciate that. And what are some of your, you know, we've talked a little bit about red flags. What are some of your red flags?
Okay.
No, in other people, and then yeah, they're not red flags you know about
between
yourself.
Me and my therapist. Like, come on.
Fair.
I'd say red flags for me are people who are a bit immature, you know, don't really know themselves. I think like as adults, we all kind of come with like our own baggage and stuff that like has gone on in our lives and stuff like that. But like, if you know yourself, you know how it affects you, and then you don't bring it to a relationship. You know what I mean? And like, I've had experiences with people who haven't done that work with themselves, or just aren't very like emotionally aware and stuff like that. And as someone who's like really sensitive, like it can be quite damaging to me. So like for me now, that's like a solid no. So I do have a bit of a dance background, but I'm also, well, at the moment I haven't got it up because I'm back home, but I'm a pole dance instructor. I've been a pole dancer for 4 or 5 years now. Oh my gosh. Wow. But you know, it's like, that's like my thing. I absolutely live for it. Like I've competed as well nationally, like as part of a group, which is really, really awesome. But like, that's the, like, you know, you have that one thing that just kind of like brings you back to center. I definitely think that's my thing. Getting a pair of heels on and doing some pole.
Watching pole dancing brings me back to center as well. So What would you do on this first date? What would you do on the second date? That's probably more interesting too.
Second date. Okay. Give me a second to think about that one. I'm going to edit out this pause.
Keep it in.
I actually have, I'm such a Virgo. I have like a list of date ideas on my phone that I have for my last relationship. I don't think I even deleted it. How sad is that? What would I do on a second date?
What's on this list?
Okay,
Yeah.
should we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a look.
I just changed it to like generic date ideas rather than ideas to do with X.
Okay. Clearly no baggage from your ex, so yes.
Absolutely. Come on.
No, none.
Okay. I thought ice skating would be a really cute one. Like, I thought it would be cute because I can't ice skate. So it's like, oh, help.
Or that's how I feel about pole dancing.
Yeah. Oh, that was another one. Give private tuition. That's usually the third date. Like, but I love to give people pole dance lessons. So, like after a few dates, usually I'll be like, okay, so it usually sparks a bit of interest. To be like, well, you know, if you want a lesson, you can come over. We can have a couple of glasses of wine, and I can show you a couple of tricks. You know.
Wow. So it's the new pole dance and chill. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, music. Ta-da!
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a bit of a musician. I love to like songwrite, play piano, record vocals and stuff like that. So if you're into music, that is a solid win, but also not a requirement. Just show up for my open mic nights.
Nice. That's awesome. Are you looking for musicians to collaborate with, or just fans to listen to you?
If I was solely looking for, that would be such Leo energy. I'm just looking for fans. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I love people that can teach me something. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
so like,
what do you want to learn?
Anything. I love to learn. So like, if you've got any like talents, or like, I love passionate people. So I'm passionate about, I don't know, even if it's gardening, you know what I mean? Like, it's anything in the world. Just if you can teach me something, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, pole dancing for gardening. I think that's a fair trade. They're both
don't knock it, okay? Like,
I'm not knocking either one.
I could really use some help with taking care of my mint plan. So there you go. If you're a gardener, hit me up.
That's it. We can just sum up this whole video. Gardeners, please apply. Awesome. Well, super excited to have you on for our third session, nailing the first date. There's a little pun in there. It's a little naughty pun. So if you want to apply to go on a date with Sinead, we'll have all the information on how to do that.
Awesome. Bye.
Yeah, so that's Sinead.
I am dying. I'm dying right now. Okay, this is why I'm dying, everyone. First off, I'm dying because I have a meeting with Sinead every single day. And I learned so much about her in that video. And I'm like,
right.
I mean, I already was in love with her from like the beginning because I mean, the accent, right? The accent, I mean, that's it, right? I didn't even have to see her to be in love. But oh my gosh, Nicole, you got so much info out of her. I'm so excited. And I'm going to propose tomorrow at my meeting with her.
It was a flustering interview.
By the time you have your next session.
Maybe you'll be the date. No, it's so interesting because Sinead runs social for us, and she's so professional.
So professional. She just got her master's degree, everyone. So she's hot as fuck and super smart.
Yeah, I was just like, pole dancing, and you're an instructor in it? Why are you sitting on that? Like, those are important facts for your coworkers to know.
100%. I would have been like, nice to meet you. I'm a pole dance instructor.
Yeah, Chris is shaking her head because she's just like, this is inappropriate. But
no, it's amazing. Just HR violations everywhere, honestly. But
welcome, working for her.
This is like our anal butt stuff meetings, like
exactly. Anal August brainstorm where we had to get deep. You got to get deep.
You got to get deep. You got to get deep.
Could you see that hand motion one more time, Chris? Getting deep right in there.
Deep. We had to get deep. So
that's all. We're out of actually planned content here. So
Now we're just starting to make Chris blush.
It's just open mic night. Yeah, I'm roasting Chris right now. But yeah, so it looks like we've posted the event page link. So many links. You just need to know that one. Go there and all your questions will be answered. We'll be posting the video later tonight. So if in case someone you know missed the session and wants to like catch up, they can check it out. Or if you want to watch it again, watch that video again of Sinead. We'll post. We have that posted as well. So. Thank you, everyone. Super stoked that you're able to join us and looking forward to seeing you in 2 days. Stay on the lookout for our socials, both her and Autostraddle. We'd like to ask a pre-session question, and the question we're going to ask is good openers for conversation. So stay tuned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, y'all.